Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop Culture Edition.
We're
If
back!
if you missed us, you can like, subscribe, follow, share, beg us in the comments never to leave again. Um, my computer told me this morning that there's a high pollen count, and I said, "Baby, I know." So my throat is again, but not as bad.
But
Not that
anyone wants some new merch? Come up with ideas for us.
we can't make it say sterilized men, but if you want a hat like this, I will send you one.
Yeah, holler.
All right.
I was gonna see if Redbubble would let us.
Redbubble, I think, is a little more lenient.
Yeah.
In that regard. But, well, actually, no, I tried to make a hat on Redbubble because I didn't know they had hats on Bonfire. I tried to make the hat on Redbubble originally, and the text is like this big.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so you can't read it.
It's like sticker sized.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, obviously, we took some time off. I had strep. Until, like, the bitter end, was like, no, I could maybe do it. And Katie was like, no, you are ill. And I was like, we don't know that yet. And I had strep.
She said, I have a fever. I am shaking. I have chills. My body aches. I want to die. And she said, but maybe I'll feel better in 5 hours. And I said,
I
or
would
not.
just be sitting in a chair. But so some of these tidbits are a little older, but wanted to talk about them because they pique our interest.
Of course.
So first, on the press tour for Another Simple Favor, which I have to say I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
Anna Kendrick was, however you want to put it in this timeline, dodging questions about Blake Lively left and freaking right. Like,
yeah.
They were like, how is it working with Blake again? And she's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Like, just.
She, like, pulled the same thing Ryan did on SNL where they're like, how has it been with all of this going on? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Is something going on? And so I'm interested. I am curious if they're like friends and she's dodging the questions because she's like not want to get into it, or if she doesn't like her and she's dodging the question because Blake Lively is scary.
Yeah.
Also, if you're watching on YouTube, my ring light broke seconds before we started this recording, so sorry.
Sweet.
James Kennedy posted a photo with Andrew Tate and his brother, I guess. And he, like, pretty quickly took it down after several comments on it, and then replaced it with an explanation of how he didn't know who Andrew Tate was, like, never would have taken a picture with him had I known the things he has said. Do you believe him?
No. Not even a little bit.
I
also just, like, don't believe that, like, I don't know. It's, like, hard for me to be like, James Kennedy is so famous that, like,
right.
The Tate brothers.
Like, that was my thought.
I must get a picture with him.
Like, why are you taking a picture with them if you don't know who they are? And if is the idea that they asked James Kennedy for a picture? Yeah. They heard that he abuses women and they were like,
we're into him.
Photo op.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there are people who are still, like, trying to hold on to James and, like, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and the hits just keep coming.
Yeah. I saw today, I'm not going to save it. Allie has started a new podcast, or is, like, fully in her podcast era. I don't know. But she was talking today about how her boyfriend before James also had issues with alcohol, and her father died from alcohol related things. And she said, like, the other day I was in therapy and my therapist said, you're trying to save your dad and all of these men that you're trying to date. And she said, hold the heck up. And then she said that since her breakup with James, she has not had any alcohol. So sounds like
Good for her.
this poor girl is like, a pattern for me.
Yeah.
But it's like, also, don't worry, babe, like a pattern for James.
Yeah. Just
For
not
sure.
you. Ed Sheeran went out on Broadway in Nashville and partied his little tail off.
Mm-hmm.
Just singing. Also, these are like super out of order. I made no attempt at logic here. Moving back to Bravo now. After Tamara Judge quit OC and walked off set like during filming for season 19, apparently it came out to her castmates. The reason she walked off set is because it came out to her castmates that she was the #1 source of production leaks to the media and had been messaging like bloggers and reporters with defamatory and damaging stories about her castmates. And they said like basically that like what they concluded from this is that like if Tamra is accusing you of leaking stories about her to the press, that's actually her deflecting that she has just leaked a story about you to the press. And like she would tell them anything. And so like these press people came out and were like, oh, like we get most of our stories from Tamra.
Is that like gonna be the storyline? Like a Monica Garcia, like we're gonna watch them like find out that it's her?
The way
Do we know?
the way I read it, and OC is also one I don't watch, and it's like last on my list to start.
It's 19
the
seasons.
longest. Literally, my list is in like number of seasons order. Anyway, so the way it sounded to me was like this maybe happened during a reunion. And that like at the reunion they were like, we have like brought forth all of this evidence about Tamra, that like she is the leak of our information always, and like they presented it to her and were like, you suck, and she like walked off and then quit.
Walked off of like a reunion set.
Yeah, and quit.
See, I thought she like left. I didn't actually like read anything. This is all headlines, but like I thought she left like from a cast trip and just like never came back and quit. In which case,
I think.
But either way, you think it's gonna be
reunion.
Sure. But you think either way, like we are going to see it. Like it's not just gonna be like,
yeah,
we don't know what
I
happened.
think you're gonna see it. I'm not watching.
I don't watch it. I've never watched OC. But someone's gonna see it. We will see clips of it one day.
Yeah. We're gonna bounce away from Bravo and then bounce right back to it. Celine Russell from The Bachelor launched her. Serene. You're right. Serene Russell from The Bachelor hard launched her relationship with Brendan Moraes.
Murray?
I
don't know.
Are you French?
Maybe.
If you recall, on Bachelor in Paradise a few years ago, Brendan went on Bachelor in Paradise, and I don't remember who it was
he
that
sneakied.
He hit it off with. Oh, it was what's her name? Natasha. He hit it off with Natasha. We were all like, "Oh my gosh, cute!" And then Piper showed up to the beach, and he was like, "Fuck you, Natasha!" Like literally, like,
that's my girl.
If like he was carrying Natasha when Piper walked down the stairs, he would have just dropped her on the ground. And like started going out with Piper, and then they basically, people said on the beach that Piper and Brendan had been talking prior to the filming of Paradise about how they wanted to be a couple in Paradise and they wanted to be on the show, or that they were maybe already a couple, but they wanted to go on Paradise and like have their love story play out there so that they could gain followers on Instagram. And when that dropped on the episode, it produced the biggest mass unfollowing
Yeah.
of a
Incredible
person
work.
the world has ever seen. And then all of those people went and followed Natasha instead. Okay. So he was dating Piper after that for a while. They're obviously not dating now. And they haven't been for a hot minute. But basically, since Serene posted that, one, people are like, Serene, what the fuck? We hate this man.
Mm-hmm.
Two, people are like, does this mean I have to follow him back now?
Mm-hmm. Because people
And,
love her.
right. And three, Piper has been like posting or reposting like some slightly shady things about like ex-boyfriends and whatnot. And so people like want the tea
Yeah.
of like what happened between Piper and Brendan, what happened between Piper and Serene, like how did this start? What's the timeline? All of that.
Yeah. And Serene got engaged to
Yes.
Brandon.
Yes.
And he cheated on her, which was like the huge shock,
Yeah.
right? Like they were
Because they were perfect.
an angel couple.
Right.
And everyone loved him, even from Michelle's season and whatever.
Yeah.
So it is aesthetically a nice pairing, but stressful to me.
Yeah.
If Brandon can cheat on you, girl, they all will.
What season was Brendan from?
I thought he was on Michelle's too. He was with Tayshia.
Okay.
It does not change what I say.
No. Okay, back to Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
So rumors are swirling that that Lisa Barlow is refusing to film the next season of Salt Lake City unless they pay her $1 million. And after that rumor came out, she since removed the show title from her Instagram bio. To me, that just doesn't seem likely. Like, I don't really know that I believe this. I don't know.
That she would leave or that she would ever get paid that?
That she would, like, stop being a Real Housewife. Like, I can't imagine Lisa Barlow, like, ever being like, no, I don't want to be on TV anymore.
Yeah. Why do you think she took it out of her bio?
I don't know.
For the tea?
I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like rather bold to me if true. Because although I don't know how far $1 million is from what they already make, so I mean,
right.
I guess maybe it's not, but it's like I understand that she makes really good television, but she also like by fans is like the most hated of them, so it like feels bold to be like,
yeah,
you better
she
keep me
also
around.
has,
Like if Jax Taylor was or fucking, I mean, I guess she's not that level. I won't say Tom Sandoval, but if Jax Taylor was like, you better pay me $1 million because I'm so entertaining, like they'd be like, actually,
they would
everyone
laugh in his
hates
face.
you, so you can go.
Yeah, and she has like I know she has one commercial running right now with West and Jesse, and then she was also in a commercial with like it was like a Housewives Tea Party.
She's been in a lot, yeah.
And so like I feel like she
Lisa, are you broke?
I was gonna say though, I feel like she's like seems to be like a team player for the network, and so like I can't imagine that she'd be like, you have to give me $1 million or else.
Unless she's like, I do so much for you, but also she's getting paid per gig, so it's not like they're having you work for free.
Did you see the new Katie Maloney commercial?
Which one?
The mayonnaise.
What was it for? Yes, mayonnaise. Yeah, where she goes undercover.
Yeah,
so cute.
I love it.
Speaking of Katie Maloney.
Yeah. Michelle from The Valley revealed that the Hollywood director Jesse accused her of sleeping with last season was Quentin Tarantino. And like I don't know, like I truly like I was like, there's no way I know who he's talking about. Like he if he ever
it's like a Randall Emmett, right?
like
you're thinking like we won't we don't
that name will
Lala's
not
like, I'm
blip
with
on my radar.
she's like, I'm with a big time producer or whatever, direct, and we're like, who? We don't know him.
But
That's what I
I
expected.
also feel like if I had to guess a director that I had heard of, I think Quentin Tarantino would be like really far down my list.
Yeah, I also have never like seen the man, so I thought he was like very, very old.
He is old.
Yeah, I thought he was older than that.
Yeah.
And so
He's also ugly.
he's and loves feet. So
Dan Schneider?
so yeah, basically grown up Dan Schneider, but I keep seeing all this stuff from the like for grown-ups.
Oh, I
Like he likes grown
Dan
up.
Schneider grew up.
No,
Like,
I just mean
he's
Quentin
an
Tarantino
old person
movies
too.
are a little more grown up than iCarly is.
Yeah.
I keep seeing all this stuff about Michelle, like from the trailer, and like her throwing the drink in his face, and everyone's like, "It's fucking crazy that like you're the one who cheated, and like you're acting like this." Surprise, fucking prize! Katie's not on board with that. Fuck Jesse. Throw
He's
a
like
drink
a
in
bad
his face.
husband.
Right. Well, she like literally when he said like I don't even remember what he said, but he said like you fucked someone or whatever, like you cheated on me, and she threw the drink in his face and she says, "I am the mother of your children." And it's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if she threw the drink in his face.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, let her. But y'all are like, that's so wild for you. Girl, if you were with Jesse, you telling me. Like, their marriage was, like, very clearly had some shit going on. Like, it seemed very, like, transactional at a certain point. Like, I can't. Not that I ever was, like, the biggest Michelle fan ever, but I will watch people yell at Jesse all day.
Yeah.
Not that I want to see Lala do it, but.
Yeah. Women have, like, never done anything wrong.
No.
Like, historically, ever.
Ever.
So, yeah. Today, we did a lesson about Malala. And, did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Something sound like somebody fell. We did a lesson about Malala. And my girls were, like... Everyone was very into it. But my girls were, like, really confused. And they were like, because we also this week learned about Susan B. Anthony and Eleanor Roosevelt and Mary McLeod Bethune and like all of these like women who like fought for women's rights and like women's right to education and like all these things. And so they were like, why did women not have rights?
Mm-hmm.
Or first they asked me like,
because
why...
women are too powerful.
First they asked me why the Taliban wanted women to wear burqas everywhere they went. Because that's what the book said.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I said out loud, let me think of an age appropriate way to explain this to you. Because like I was like, everything is based on the fact that like men over time have thought that women are good for one thing. And when women don't live up to that one thing or don't fall in line to be the perfect person for that one thing, then like they're worthless. So like this woman, she's a wife, that's all she can be good at now. Michelle, she's a wife, that's all she can be good at now. She fucks somebody else, worthless.
Yeah.
That's why you're mad, because like she fucked someone who wasn't her man instead of vice versa. And her man was a bad person and a bad husband and treated her poorly.
Yeah. It's like
she's continues to treat her poorly.
Yeah. She's not throwing the drink in his face because she cheated on him. She's throwing the drink in his face because of how he speaks to her.
Right.
Like,
and that's probably why she cheated on him, is because he speaks to her like she's a piece of garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Might we sound like hypocrites on paper? Would we ever say Tom Sandoval can throw a drink in Ariana's face because she speaks to him ugly sometimes? No, because we support women's rights and wrongs, and even if Michelle is wrong, I don't care.
Yeah.
I find that argument boring.
Yeah. What I ended up saying in class today was, I said, well, in like the past, women were viewed like as property. So like
Mhm.
when you were a girl, like you belonged to your father, and then when you get married, you belong to your husband. And somebody said, they can't buy us. And I said, well, also in the past there were dowries. Like this is, and I said, so like, I was like, obviously we're talking about a different country that Malala is from, and this is happening in 2009, and Malala is my age, so we were both in middle school at that time.
Mhm.
And we talked about like women's right to vote was in 1920, because one of my kids said, so you didn't get to go to school? I said, I'm not that old. I
Mhm.
said women in America earned the right to vote in 1920. Married women couldn't hold credit cards until 1970. And then I said Barbie had a credit card before American women could have a credit card. And
Mhm.
they were like, she's a doll. I was like,
Mhm.
I know. I
Crazy.
know.
Yeah. Have
Um,
you watched Adolescence on
no.
Netflix?
Uh, one of my coworkers said to watch it, and mom and dad watched it.
They
And
did. I keep telling them to watch it, and they never debriefed me after.
I I called mom the other day, to ask her about flights to Colorado. And then dad told me not to book one. But anyway, so I called her to talk about that, and she answered the phone like, "Hello." You know how she answers the phone. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yeah, we're just trying to watch Adolescence."
Uh, it's
Oh,
like it's a
fucking bad.
labor task. Like, what is going on?
And then like I asked her my question, and she said, "Oh, well, that'll be a question for dad, so like I'll have to ask him and get back to you." And I was like, "You just said we're watching Adolescence. Where
Right
is
next to
he?"
you.
I'm assuming you could ask him right now, but apparently
Yeah.
that's a very like
Time consuming.
intense and yeah, and like time consuming, labor inducing not inducing, labor
They're
intensive
intensive.
show.
It is, but okay. Moving along. Also the Valley. So we've all been waiting with bated breath to find out what's gonna happen to Brittany and Jax's podcast now that they're divorced. Just kidding, we haven't, but they did keep recording together for a little while, and then for a while they would like take turns recording the
Mhm.
episodes, which was just odd.
Yeah.
So now Brittany is taking over their podcast, as she should. Jax has launched a new podcast called In the Mind of a Man.
Gross.
Vomit
Nobody wants to be there.
in my mouth. No, we really don't, because so far he has talked to a therapist about how when he would have sex with women and could not perform and he knew he would not be able to come, he would lie to them and just tell them, like, you know what, I really, really like you. Like, I think we should stop. And they would think that was so sweet that he
No,
was,
they
oh,
didn't.
he said they would tell him and they would go tell their friends, oh my god, like he was so sweet.
Oh, you think you're the only one that can lie?
Also, like, at what point, like, have you been fucking me for 15 minutes and
Right.
then you're like, I really think we should slow down a little bit, and then we're gonna fuck again next time for 15 minutes and you're gonna do it again? Like, I don't understand. Like, you better have barely started before you tell me, like, I just think we've moved too fast. That's crazy. He said it would be too embarrassing to admit that um that he couldn't finish.
I think it's funny. He like literally thinks he's like the only person that can lie. He's like, they think I'm so sweet. Like, no, baby, they're secondhand embarrassed. They
Mm-hmm.
did go tell all their friends, but they didn't. They didn't tell them what you think they did.
Yeah. And he like has admitted to like faking orgasms before, and I'm like, but you and Tom Sandoval are the type of people who are like, no one's ever faked an orgasm with me.
Right. A former contestant on Love Is Blind Argentina was arrested after attempting to murder the wife he met on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was for attempted murder that's what they charged him with.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said that he had strangled her, and beaten her, and then she went on a podcast not long after, and she's like clearly has like a black eye and like her face is kind of busted up, and she said that like the hardest part of it was that one of the things that like she opened up to opened up about to him was that she had previously been in a domestic
Yeah.
violence centered relationship, and that like he like handled it really well. So they got engaged, left the show, married, whatever, and then that happened.
Yeah. Crazy.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Also, Netflix. Lucy Hale is dating Harry Jowsey, which is gross.
Insanity.
Lucy Hale, known for playing someone who also dated someone she shouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was like sitting there thinking, like, is this like the opposite age gap? Like, is she the old one now?
How old is she?
But I don't think I think I remember when I first saw it, I looked up her age and I was like, I guess she's not that much older than him. She's 35.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. She's also on Wizards of Waverly Place.
And he's 27, so I mean it's an age gap, but
yeah,
he's not a high schooler.
Yeah.
So, you know.
She saw him and Riley Arnold interact and she was like nostalgic.
So cute. I love that.
Okay. Back to Love is Blind. Joey, what are you doing? Like I said, these tidbits are old, so like y'all are like, what do you mean? What is he doing? But we haven't talked about it yet. So somehow in the time since the Love is Blind reunion, the least interesting thing we have learned about Joey is that he also auditioned for The Bachelor at one point.
Yeah.
Or Bachelorette, I guess. So some other things we've gotten are, what is this? Oh, some unaired footage of Monica meeting Joey's friends, where all of his friends tell Monica that they were surprised he was going on the show because he is so afraid of commitment and not interested in marriage. And she basically says to all of them, like, this is the first I'm hearing of this. Like, that is not what has been communicated to me by him. And, like, that hasn't been my experience with him. But, like, these friends, I was like, oh, these are not his friends. Because they're, like, adamant to her. Like,
yeah,
this dude is not your husband.
Yeah.
And then more recently, rumors started going that Sara and Joey are dating. They were allegedly seen kissing. They did reveal, I think at the reunion, they talked about that they had dated in the pods. Or
Yeah,
they talked about
someone mentioned that they were kind of with, but I thought it was Madison.
Oh, it was Madison.
Yeah.
But then I think when Sara went on this podcast, she said that she and Joey had been dating in the pods. And on that podcast, they asked her when they asked her if she and Joey were dating, she said like, no, we did date in the pods, but like obviously chose different people, and we're just like best friends. And then they're like, but like, is it possible you would date? And she was like, oh, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
maybe.
It felt like they were like, so you're saying you will not date? And she was like, I wouldn't say that.
So she was like, I would not shut down that idea.
Yeah.
Then Monica went on a podcast and said that Sara and Joey were dating, and that the reason that was so upsetting to her was because when Monica and Sara were still like kicking it, still friends, still kikiing, Sara was like dating Joey, but also comforting Monica about her situation with Joey. Sure. And like Monica was comforting Sara about her situation with Ben.
Yeah.
But she was like, behind my back, she's a snake. Sara then posted on Instagram on her main feed. It's still up about this and said, I didn't want to respond, but I do need to defend my character. What has been said is exaggerated and misleading. The timeline is inaccurate. At no point was I consoling Monica while secretly going behind her back. Our recollections of the conversation we had are very different. I wish Monica the best and hope we can move forward. And what I took away from that is she's dating Joey.
Yeah. I
I'm
think,
not sure what she wanted us to take away from that.
yeah, that is what I would assume. It is so crazy to me, like, when this rumor first came out, and I said to you, I don't remember if it was recorded, I don't remember if it was on the podcast, but I said to you that I did think they were sitting kind of close at that reunion. So then when people started saying maybe they were dating, I was like, that's weird, because they were sitting kind of close. But it's so crazy to me that Miss Social Justice Warrior Sara would want to be with Joey, who obviously Joey hasn't technically like done anything like problematic politically, but like he was riding so hard for Ben and Devin while they were getting reamed at the reunion. So like, why? Why do you want any of these dudes? And then
Right.
I was like, oh, sorry, pause for thunder. I was like defending Sara when people were like, she's so stupid. Why were you trying to bring Ben down to Nashville if you already broke up with him? Like, whatever. And I was like, no, we're not mad at Sara. And now I'm like, no, this just makes really bad decisions.
Yeah. I also like think that she's way too attractive for Joey. Like
Yeah.
Ben is not like what I look for in a man, but I would say that she and Ben are like equal levels of attractive.
Yeah.
Joey?
Yeah.
Joey literally looks like a cartoon.
He rode his longboard down the aisle. Girl.
Like that, I would vomit.
Yeah. But
do you want me to do my last one?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, Nick Viall just signed an 8-figure podcast deal, which my first thought was, I don't think I've ever heard the term 8-figure. My second thought was, us next?
No. Not likely. I would like a 3-figure
Any figure?
deal. So something else monumental that I think huh?
I said there's something else monumental, like as if we've been talking about monumental things. We're talking about podcast deals.
It's a monumental number.
Yes.
Something else monumental has happened that I might feel like it doesn't fit in here, but I would argue is super necessary to mention as pop culture. It's happening all over your feeds. It's all over the news. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker has broken the record for the longest, technically, I guess, filibuster, but it wasn't really a filibuster. It was just a Senate speech that he did to stop any business from happening in Congress. And he has to stay standing. He cannot eat. He cannot go to the bathroom. And I guess that's it.
He has to keep talking the whole time.
Keep talking, or the other people can be asking him questions. But, like, yeah, he did this for over 25 hours. It's incredibly exciting because previously the record was 24 hours and 19 minutes, and it was held by a racist man who was up there opposing the Civil Rights Act of 1957. So, rock on.
And now the record is held by RuPaul's cousin.
Yes.
Pick that part up. I don't know what it is.
I don't know. But they said, how did you prepare? And he said, I did not want to say this, my doctor will get mad, but I was very dehydrated.
Okay. The Bachelor finale, all of that happened. This was the best Bachelor finale I've ever seen in my life. I was turned the fuck
Oh.
in. And I think maybe I wouldn't feel that way if the season had also been good, but the season sucked so much ass, and we got to the finale and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is
Yeah.
wonderful. Not for anyone involved, of course, but to watch. Wow. So I'm gonna go over like my favorite parts. Um Obviously we've like I guess I'll go back to Fantasy Suites because we didn't cover that yet. So Fantasy Suites final 3, it was Zoe, Julianna, and Litia. And they had each of them meet with a former Bachelor contestant who made it to Fantasy Suites to talk about like what to expect, like what are your concerns, like let me talk you through them. And I think like the idea was to kind of match them up to someone who was like similar to them or maybe had similar concerns to them so that
Sure.
they could like really talk it out. But people were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is giving away the ending. So Juliana met first with Daisy.
Okay.
Then Litia met with Kelsey. No,
Kelsey
yeah,
A.
Kelsey. Did she meet with Kelsey? No, she met with Katie. Um, from Zach's season, who was the winner. And then Zoe met with Rachel. So Zoe went home after Fantasy Suites, and people were like, "Oh, they just gave away the ending because Zoe went home at final 3, and so did Rachel, who she was talking to. So
Mhm.
obviously Litia is our winner." And I
Mhm.
have to wonder, like, if they know who each other met with and if this added to, like, Litia really thinking she was going to win. But people were, like, convinced, like, we know the ending. I did not agree. I thought that was too obvious.
I must. Well, never mind. I'll wait and call you out later.
Okay. I have been, like, certain that Juliana's going to win for a bit, but I was also certain that they were not still
Yeah,
together.
that's what I was gonna say. Mary sends us a text and says, "Well, obviously they're not still together." And
I
then she said,
mean, it seemed pretty obvious to me because she had been posting like those TikToks and she was like, "Thank you to the women on my season because I can finally spend a Monday night not crying over a man." Like she just like laid it out there in this TikTok. Lie? A lie? What is happening? So I was like, "Oh, okay, they're like clearly not." But I for a second I was like, maybe it is Litia because she seemed like very sure it was her. So we talked about with like um Joey season specifically that it appears the winners know they're going to be the winners a little sooner than they let on. Um, and so this, I think that's what made this finale so crazy is that both of these women genuinely thought they were getting engaged to this man. So, you've seen the trailers like Grant, we got to make a decision. We got to send somebody. And so car pulls up and it's Litia. And she gets out in a band-aid basically wrapped around her body. She is walking like this
"Oh."
because she can't move her legs in her dress. Um she looks extremely uncomfortable. And she like gets there and he's like, how are you feeling? And she's like, oh, I'm so nervous, like how are you? And he's like, I'm also really nervous. And she like kind of goes into her speech and then he basically like tells her like I see a future more with someone else. And she was like, he said, I hope you don't see me any differently. And Litia, who has spent the whole season talking like this, said, come on now. That was exactly how she said it too. She said, come on now. Of course I see you differently. And she said, like, I'm sad, I'm confused, I'm angry, like I am very upset by this. This is not what you promised me. And then she said, like, and I love Julianna, and Julianna deserves to be loved by you. And if I were her and I watched back this season and I heard the things you said to me, I would have a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so that he said, okay. And then she left, and then Juliana came and they got engaged. Blah, blah, blah. After the final rose, Litia tells us what those things are that he said to her. And this is where I was like, no fucking way. Like, insane. So on Latia's first one-on-one, she is telling Grant that she like really misses her mom. I think her mom was sick, and she like was like really upset to not be with her. And so he asked production if they could have a phone to FaceTime her mom. And they FaceTimed her mom from their one-on-one. And he tells her mom that Litia is his future wife.
This is on camera?
Not This is what she's saying happened.
Okay.
If it's on camera, they did not show it.
Okay.
Then she says that he also on that date said like, and also like her one-on-one was like week 2. So he apparently also said on that date like, I want to stop the show right now. I just want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. And she said that she told him like, I would really appreciate if you didn't say those things to me. Like, I feel like you're trying to be really affirming by saying those things, and I really appreciate that. But this is only week 2, and you could change your mind at any point. You could build stronger connections, and I just don't want you to have made those kinds of promises so early on. So like, I would appreciate if you stopped saying those things. And then she's like, and he didn't. She kept saying like, you upped the ante. She just kept saying like, you upped the ante, you took it too far, you kept like leveling up. She said you kept raising the stakes. And then she said that he basically like he just kept saying like, it's you, like you're who I'm picking, blah blah blah, like I don't want to be here with anyone else, I just want you. And then at her fantasy suite, she told him that she did not want to have sex because she's a Mormon, and he's like, that's fine. And then she said that on the night before the proposals, they were together, not like sex together, but like they were hanging out.
On the like final 2 date thing, or she means?
I guess so.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't realize that was like the day before the proposals.
Yeah, I guess I knew someone's was. I don't know.
But so she said the night before the proposals, they were talking, and he was like, I'm so sad, like, that, like, you have to go tonight. And she said, like, yeah, but like, I can't believe we're gonna get engaged tomorrow. And he said, me neither. I'm so excited. And then he kept telling her how much he loved her. And so she was like, I genuinely got out of that limo and thought I was getting engaged because he told me we were getting engaged. And so then like they asked him, and he was like, I guess like I just thought that like I was like being affirming, and that is how I felt at the time. But like I also like was falling in love with Julianna. And so like I was also like affirming Julianna, which like you wouldn't know because like you weren't there. And
she said, yes, that makes me feel much better.
She was like, that's kind of the problem. And she's like, what upsets me is like, I asked you to stop. Like, if you were affirming Julianna in the same way and she was like, keep it coming,
sure,
like that's your relationship with her, like you can do that, but like I asked you to stop and you didn't. And then he was just like, yeah, like I don't remember saying it exactly the way she's saying I said it, but like that, whatever. So then when Julianna came out and they announced that they were still engaged, which I was like, that's crazy. Like, how did you not break up backstage at this point?
Yeah.
And so they asked her, like, how do you feel? Or no, Jesse asked her, have you been giving him a lot of grief? And she said, I don't think grief is the right word. I think the right word is grace. I've been giving him a lot of grace.
Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Then on like Good Morning America the next day, they
Yeah.
asked her
I
like, how
think
did
this
you
is
feel
what I
watching it all
saw.
back? Yeah, they
And she
asked
was
like,
mad at Litia.
well, she said that she did not watch it back.
Oh.
And she said that they decided as a couple that it would be best for her if she not
To
watch it
watch the
back.
show? The whole
Right.
show?
Yes. To not watch, at least not the finale episode. To not watch it back because it might bother her, obviously.
It might prove what your man is like.
Right. And so she's like, that's like a decision we made together. And so like I like stand by that decision. And she's like, but I also like I believe that like that is Latia's truth and her perception.
Yeah. All I
Okay.
saw was basically her saying, like, I didn't like that Litia said when Julianna watches this back, she's gonna have a lot of questions about things you said to me. Like, she was kind of just saying, like, what? It's none of, like, that's none of her business, or like
Yeah.
something. And I was like, what's happening here?
She
Why?
also said that like they're not friends anymore. Cuz like I like her and Latia were like good friends throughout the show. Not, and like maybe like in like a Rachel and Gabby sort of way, like kind of leaning on each other throughout, but like she said that they don't talk anymore. And she's like, and I wish her like all the best, but like we don't talk.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That what you got?
Yes, I think that's it. People are like mad. People are like on TikTok are like, we love Litia. I also love Litia, but they're like, we love Litia, and so it makes it really hard to like be happy for Julianna, even though we really liked her too. And Kelsey was like, we can be happy for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that my thing is like it's hard to be happy for Julianna because her fiance sucks.
Yeah.
Like
I think
I'm not happy for her.
Yeah, like I'm like, watch the fucking show, babe.
Right. Like
Please. I'm beg of you.
I'm not happy for her. I'm worried for her. I'm
Yeah.
happy for Litia because she got out of that.
Yeah.
She scraped by the skin of her teeth.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like happy for Litia because she could have been engaged to a bad person.
Sure.
Julianna is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. All right. Last thing we have is just all the Bravo. So not only is Shep's megalodon tooth necklace fucking weird, like it's like the 2025 version of a Zales heart-shaped necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Like like the Zales like open heart collection.
Mm-hmm.
But to add fuel to the fire of this weirdness, we already know that he gave a great white tooth to Taylor. It's not the same as a great white. But apparently Taylor is literally the model for the megalodon tooth necklace on the website Shep ordered it from.
Yeah. Not
So
even the model for the
went
Great White.
right. He went on the same website
And he
where
said, this looks really good on this woman.
right.
Who happens to be my ex-girlfriend. And I want it on my new woman.
I think he went on that website and he was like, I want to get a necklace for Sienna like I did for Taylor. And he's scrolling the website and he saw a picture of Taylor and was like, I'll just get that one. It's a sign.
Familiar to me.
Yeah. Dumb. That man is dumb. Anyway, JT and Venita are like officially going at it always. On the reunion, they're going at it. On socials, they're going at it. So we talked about last time the story that Venita made about how like the timeline was skewed on the production end of her knowing about JT's girlfriend. And then JT's girlfriend posted and was like, let me be clear, she did know about me when they had that dinner. Like she's lying, basically. Yeah. And Venita's like,
it's like
no,
I
wasn't.
still don't understand how he thinks that makes only her look bad. Like, if you made it very clear to her
Right.
at any point, whether on or off camera, that you had a girlfriend, then why did you then start being vague? And why did you continue to say, am I incredibly attracted to you? Yes.
Right.
Am I totally fucking into you? Of course.
Right.
But unfortunately, I got this old ball and chain that I got to be kind of loyal to a little bit, kind of. And it's like, so if that was your whole ass girlfriend and you made it very clear to Venita and you're trying to make Venita out to be this home wrecking whore,
Right.
why were you not like, yo, I told you I
Right.
have a girlfriend?
So he posted about all of this. Anyway, so he posted on Instagram that Venita met his girlfriend at the same time his mom and his sister did, and that it was on the show. So that one of the earlier episodes where he showed his mom his new rental property,
That was like
he
the first
said,
goddamn episode.
yeah, he said that he posted a picture from that day. He said that his girlfriend was there, his sister was there, and Venita was there. And so again, that does kind of, like, in my opinion, lend credence to what Venita is saying, that they are intentionally editing this all crazy, but maybe now they're kind of saying it's coming from both ends. Like, they left his girlfriend out of all of these scenes that she supposedly was there for, which, like, maybe she didn't want to be on the show, but then, like, pretended that he only mentioned her weeks later. I don't know.
Yeah, very weird. And I'm a little disappointed that, like, Venita has not said that at the reunion yet. Like, she has seen the episode and the episodes in the order that they've played out. Like, I am disappointed that she has not said, like,
Yeah.
Andy, y'all fucked me over.
Right.
Like, what's happening here?
Or maybe she did and they cut it out.
Honestly. Jesus, how egregious.
On the reunion, we learned that JT and Allie is her name, broke up post-filming, and he did start dating Venita. And then I guess him and Venita stopped dating. And then he got back together with Allie. And then when the season teaser dropped, Allie started DMing Venita and calling her a rat. So Venita asked JT, she said, "Control your woman." Which, if a man had said that, she's like, "Are you gonna do anything about this? Like, this is the DMs she's sending me," and he didn't do anything about it. He was like, "I don't know what she's talking about."
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have to interrupt this. Do you think JT said what Ryan
Patricia
said
was a
he
bitch?
said? No, what they said he said about Venita.
I don't know, because then the way he repeated it back to Leva, I was like, that sounds like what Ryan said.
Yeah, like and then, like, for some reason when you couple that with his girlfriend calling her a rat, I'm like, these are not, like, maybe people who, like, see microaggressions. These are maybe not people who, like, recognize, like, I understand. I totally kind of get these people that know JT saying he doesn't say the word bitch, and, like, he certainly wouldn't say it about, like, a pillar of our community in front of Austin, Shep, and Craig. Like, he would do better than that. And I think, like, maybe fine, Craig's a liar, it's all good, but, like, it does sound like you said the vibes, whatever you said, the vibes were pretty similar to what Ryan said you said.
Right. Because what he told Leva was
she's a cute black girl.
Right. He said, like, I said there's a beautiful black girl that's into me. Like, just because you threw an adjective in there.
Yeah, it
doesn't make it any less.
I do get
concerning.
Well, I do get that the hang up word was some. Like, she doesn't take out black. She doesn't want to be called some girl. Like, she thinks she's important to him. She's like, we're friends. Like, why would you call me some girl?
Right.
However, like, saying, like, you can picture it like this, okay? He says to the barber, have you watched the show? Do you know anything about Venita? Oh, okay. Well, there's some really cute, beautiful, incredible black girl that is really into me. We've been friends before. Okay, the word some did get in there. Like, like, so I feel like, and then, yeah, you add to this that he has a girlfriend who would send his best friend, Venita, DMs calling her a rat, and he doesn't do shit about it. And now I'm like, wait a second. I think you said exactly what they said you said.
Right. And I, like, huge proponent of, like, we are not colorblind here. Sure. But I also feel like, why did you have to say she's a black girl?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I understand in general, like, you're in Charleston, like, people, whatever, like, but in that conversation, I think you're right. Like,
especially if you're talking about, like, oh, she's into me, but I have a girlfriend.
Right. It sounds like you're trying to clarify, like, that is part of the reason you're not into her. Right. That's part of the reason you think she's going too hard. Unless you are trying to, like, well, when you watch the show, I want you to be able to identify her. Right. So it's gonna be the beautiful, incredible black girl named Venita. That's who you should keep your eye out for.
Yeah. And you know what I think is even crazier is that Leva was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. That's actually great.
She said, look, as long as she's not wearing Jordans, I don't care what you say about her.
Yeah.
So JT,
that was not Mary being racist about Jordans. Let's be clear. Yeah. Back to last time's episode, Leva doesn't like Jordans. Apparently. Rumor has it.
So JT said that Venita ghosted him, I guess, and I think that's what he said. Mm-hmm. So Venita was like, no.
I ghosted you when you had a girlfriend.
She said, let me get my phone and I'll prove to you that I didn't ghost him.
I love when people get their phone to prove the absence of messages, because I'm like, you could have just deleted those.
She's, which, like, again, I was about to say, the texts weren't that interesting. They just happened to be there.
Sure.
Which was the point. Despite all of this, they get through all this shit. And then Andy says, so, but do you still want to be friends with JT? And she said, yeah. And then he says, well, do you still want to date JT? And she says, yeah.
Venita.
The fuck?
This man ain't shit.
Then she brings mimosas. I think they're mimosas. She brings a mixed drink.
Two? I don't remember this part.
This isn't part 2.
Okay, yes. I haven't seen it yet.
She brings a mixed drink to him. I think they're mimosas. And she said, I brought
you
a drink.
Like from her room? Like they were on lunch? Okay.
Yeah. So he was like getting hair and makeup done. She like brought him. And she was like, I'm bringing you this drink. And his little diabetic ass said, I can't drink it. It's too much sugar. Bitch, my favorite drink is a mimosa.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
You're fine. You're fine. Well, I don't know if he has a pump.
Maybe he's not. He does do injections.
I think he does. Yeah, never mind. I'm back it up. But, anyway. but then she says, oh, it's a truce, but do you want me to get you, like, tequila club soda? Like, I can do something without the sugar. And he was like, no, I'll drink it as a sign of the truce. I was like, oh, he's going to kill himself. Like, that's the truce, is he was like, I'll do it.
I would die.
And so then they're like giggling, and his hair and makeup people said, you do realize y'all are flirting again? And he said, we are not flirting. And she said, no, this is not flirting. I was like, no, this is what we've watched all fucking season. It's looked just like this. Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I think that y'all are, because you've done more egregious things, you think that this is not flirting, because you also cooked him a branzino dinner and apparently straddled him and like all this stuff, but like, no, this is
this point in time
for normal people. Yeah.
I think.
No, she said on the reunion they have not.
Oh, okay.
Because someone. Oh, wait. Never mind. I'm mixing with Southern Hospitality. I don't know if they fucked.
But I think she
I
did
do
say
think
that.
she
I think
said
she
they
said
had
like
not.
they hadn't figured out things yet, or they
I
hadn't
think they
gotten to
said
that
they had
point.
made
Yeah,
out.
whatever. But
Venita's a
now,
little girl.
but now she and Allie and JT are still like all going back and forth, posting receipts on Instagram. Like I I think it's clear that they're not friends anymore. I hope that she does not still want to date him after this shit. He's
Yeah.
still with this girl who, much like Julianna, should have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
I love that she left to get her phone and went through the set exit.
Yeah.
And
She's
he's
like, I'm
like,
being dramatic. They also mentioned on part 2 of the reunion that Whitney is a producer on the show, which I didn't know. But I also think that that kind of explains a lot about how Whitney can be so gross and still be on our screens all the time.
yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, this man is disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
Predator City.
It is so interesting who they choose. Like Leva and Lamar are producers on Southern Hospitality.
Yeah.
And I guess like the closest to Elisa Vanderpump is like Whitney and Patricia.
And well, and like, so in part 2, which you just said you haven't seen, in part 2, they go back and they make us rewatch the like audition whatever tapes of the people who are still on the show, which was 12 years ago that they filmed these. And the way they made it sound was like Whitney, which I think Cameron was the one who called in or who like sent in the recommendation that they do a show about her friend group, but they made it sound like Whitney was part of like getting it all set up. And then because then Craig said that, and he said this on Watch What Happens Live too, said that like on the first day of filming that he thought Whitney was like playing a prank on them. And so like he didn't think they were actually filming a show until like a little farther into it. But he thought like Whitney had kind of like made it up to play a prank on them. And so like they made it sound like Whitney was kind of one of the people who started this whole thing, which I guess is also maybe why he's not like a main cast member.
Sure.
But yeah. To me, I think that's why he's a producer, is because he was in on the beginning of it.
Sure.
On Summer House, on the after show, Paige went into a little more detail about why she broke up with Craig. She said that when she went on tour for Giggly Squad, she started having panic attacks and realized it was because of the pressure Craig was putting on her. And his response to that was telling her to watch this ABBA documentary, can't talk, about that he had just seen that talked about that talked about how like going on tour like
Ruins
broke their
marriages.
family apart.
Yeah.
And he was like, this will help your anxiety a lot. But then also in the last few episodes of Summer House, we've seen her talk about that same thing with Sierra and Amanda. So.
Yeah. I thought that so like Andy brings it up at the Southern Charm reunion. He's like, like looking back, like watching this season of Summer House, like do you see that like Paige did not feel supported and like she felt like all of this stuff, whatever. And he's like, no, she did feel supported by me.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, no, I mean, like she like literally said she didn't, like to her friends in the confessional, like kind of feels like we're watching this whole season unravel where like she's kind of leading up to this breakup and he's like, no, like she never had any concerns. Like we were great. She knew I was so support. She always felt supported by me. And it's like, this is so crazy to watch him, like,
Yeah.
gaslighting Andy. Andy's just sitting there, like, he does that Andy thing where he just goes, well, okay. But on a side note, all through part 1 of the reunion, I was like, why do these cast members just keep saying, stop gaslighting me anytime someone disagrees with them? Like Leva, every time Craig would speak, and like, look, I ain't a Craig fan, but if you're not gonna use gaslighting correctly, do
Right.
not. She just was like, Craig, stop gaslighting me. And then Craig's like, no, you're gaslighting me. And I'm like, y'all are just saying words
Right.
at this point.
You just learned a new word, apparently.
Yeah.
Craig does have a new girlfriend now. I've seen that they apparently started dating around the same time that Paige originally started dating, which was like a month after the breakup. Which is interesting because Austin and all of Craig's other little friends are shitting on her for dating so soon. But then on the reunion, they asked him about like Austin saying that Paige was in a relationship, and Austin said like, I shouldn't have said that. I don't know that to be true. I just believe it. And then they also asked about like, they showed all the headlines about Joe D'Amelio, and then they asked about if they thought she had been cheating on him, and Craig was again like, I don't know. I'm not answering that. And they asked Craig if he was dating anyone yet, and he said no. So now he potentially is doing exactly what he's mad at Paige for doing, which is starting to date someone after they broke up and then not admitting it.
Yeah.
On Watch What Happens Live this week, I think, Madison was on, and somebody asked if she and Paige are friends or gonna remain friends after the breakup with Craig. She said that she reached out to Paige after the news of the breakup came out and never got a response. And then she said that Paige did not congratulate her on her pregnancy, which to her felt like a clue that the friendship was over. She's like, no, like, hard feelings. Like, I don't think it was like malicious that she didn't congratulate me.
She just wants to
but
move
like,
on.
I think we're just not friends anymore.
She doesn't want to be friends with her ex's friends.
Yeah. On Summer House, while Lexi was visiting her sick grandmother, while Lexi was away, Jesse would play, as they say. And I was like, why is it always when they're attending to a grandmother?
Yeah, come on now.
that these things happen. So Emerald was caught up in a threesome, as he so often is, apparently.
Yeah.
And Jesse came in to watch.
He said, I want to go talk to these girls that Emerald's with.
Yeah.
They're not talking right now, buddy. Right. They're busy.
And I will say, like, I might believe Jesse Solomon that they were just vibing, because there was a lot of giggling coming from that room, and not a lot of anything else from what they recorded. But basically, he says he didn't join. But he was in there for 37 minutes, and when Lexi posted about this on TikTok, she said, it's the 37 minutes for me. And then the next morning, he told Wes...
love when they asked... Oh, I'll wait till you say this part.
He told Wes that while he was in there, Emerald told one of the girls to suck Jesse's toe, and she did. And then in the, like, confessional, they were, like, asking him about this, and he was like, oh, yeah, well, like, I came in, and he was like, it was kind of gross, because, like, my feet have been gross, but I was barefoot when I got in there, and I was drunk, and they were like, no, you were not barefoot when you got in there. And he said, I was wearing shoes? And they said, yes. And he said, and I took them off? And they said, yes.
They said, I guess so.
He's like, weird. So apparently he, like, took his shoes off and let someone suck his toe. He was also all over Sierra, which I'm not complaining about, because I, like Paige and Amanda and all of the other Summer House cast, am into that idea. But less now.
Jesse a dog.
Less now that I've seen. But he like told her like she turns him on. If Wes hadn't called dibs on her, then he would have gone for her. She's a 10. And everyone in the house is like, fuck yes. Like, we are about this. We love this. And then when they told Lexi about it, when they told Lexi about it, not when Jesse told Lexi about it, not when Jesse told Lexi about it, when he asked her to be his exclusive girlfriend and told her that nothing of significance happened in the house while she was gone. At no point did he tell Lexi. She was obviously big mad because she had to find it out from everyone else in the house, and as more people come up to talk to them, more things come out, and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And she's like, you buried the lead. You did text me and say people are accusing me of flirting with Sierra, but like that didn't happen. You did not say, and I got my toe sucked, and I told Sierra I would have gone for her if West hadn't. And, you know what I mean?
And I think that the toe sucking thing bothered her because she thought it was weird. Like, she was like, that's just like strange.
I think like as soon as they said he went into a threesome, like he walked in there, she was like, why? Like, that's so weird.
Yeah. I think she's like,
just like ick.
I don't like this. Yeah. She's obviously not happy with him.
Yeah.
And that's where we ended.
And Jesse's like, why are you mad?
Yeah.
At me. All right. Final thing. We have moved on to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, and it is giving so good. But first, I need Mary to share with the class what you have recently learned about the cast members of the Beverly Hills Housewives.
Of course. So I just started watching The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills from the start. And I've learned that Kyle and Kim are Paris Hilton's aunts. That's crazy.
Because they are
Kathy Hilton's sister. I didn't know that.
That's crazy.
She has a different last name than them.
Yeah, but they be sister-in all the time.
I don't follow them also. Adrienne Maloof basically lives the plot of Running Point on Netflix, and I told Sammy, if you haven't watched Running Point, it's so cute. You should watch it. But I told Sammy, I said, like, I think Running Point might be based on Adrienne Maloof. And he said, it's not. I said, but it, like, fits really perfectly. And he was like, it's about the Lakers. And I was like, or it could be about Adrienne Maloof. And so the fact that this is based on the Lakers, but also fits very nicely into the life of Adrienne Maloof, I find very interesting. I also did not know that Max Todd was adopted, which is crazy to me because I've always thought that him and Pandora looked a lot alike. And
I swore I knew that from Vanderpump, but I mean, I guess my knowledge would have just kind of gone together. So,
it's also possible that they said it on there and I didn't pay attention. Not that like they like look exactly alike, but I've just always thought like that they look similar.
Family resemblance.
Yeah. I also am loving playing I Spy with the Vanderpump cast. So we just got to season 2, and so far I've seen Ariana, Sandoval, and Katie.
Wow. Incredible.
It's so nice.
So, my main takeaway is that I am obsessed with Bose. And I was obsessed with Bose all season, but, you know, it really takes, for someone's first season, it takes seeing them in a reunion to know for sure. See how they hold their own. I also was, like, very proud of her. I thought she made, like, a compelling... I don't know, it's not that interesting, but it's like something I don't hear a lot. Like, they're asking her, like, you talked on this season about how you are older, you would be older for getting pregnant, but you want to have a baby, and you want to have a baby with your boyfriend Keely, who you've been with for less than 6 months. So, like, people have had opinions about that. And how does that feel? And, you know, normally, like, they'd be like, fuck opinions. I don't care. And she said, you know what? Like, I just never really thought, and I'm not, like, it hurts my feelings for people to have opinions and critiques on my hopes and dreams. And, like, I think that is so sad.
Yeah.
But also, I love her. And she is so good. But mostly we're here for Erica and Dorit dragging people, mostly Sutton and Garcelle, which is incredible because we hate them. But Erica tells Garcelle, she's like, you know, like, you keep telling us we're not sharing enough, but, like, you're not sharing much either. And Garcelle's like, what else do you want me to share? I don't, like, I'm not dating anyone. I'm not doing whatever. And Erica said, you know what? I guess I just wish you were more interesting. And, and Garcelle said, well, that's not nice, Erica. And then, maybe even better, Dorit, so in the season, Sutton told Dorit, pick on somebody whose wallet fits.
Yes, I see.
And they said, you saying you're bigger than her? And she said, I'm saying my wallet is. But at the reunion, Dorit says, I don't know why you're acting like you're the Queen of Sheba. You live on the main fucking road. Incredible.
I like Kyle's season 2 quote. It was like, I may not be the richest girl in Beverly Hills, but I am the luckiest. And I'm like, going on the Real Housewives and admitting you're not that rich? Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Now, when Garcelle goes to lunch, she's got a lot to say about Erica, calling her boring. She's, like, screaming, she's going in, she's cursing, whatever. But out on stage, she said, that's not very nice, Erica. And I'm like, why you didn't give it back to her? You had a moment to not be boring. And you just said, oh, well, hopefully they'll get me on my hot mic. That's crazy. Garcelle has since announced that, she announced this before the reunion even started airing. Garcelle announced that she's not returning next season. Thank God. I think it's going to become more and more clear throughout the reunion. I kind of think that I've seen teasers that she's going to get up and leave. But what compels me is that Erica went on Watch What Happens Live right after Garcelle announced it before the reunion aired, and Andy said, what do you make of Garcelle's announcement? And Erica said, Andy, we both knew she wasn't coming back. And Andy said, no, I did not know. And she said, I was at that reunion. You were at that reunion. We both knew she was not coming back. So I'm ready to see what that means and what's going to happen. I am not a Garcelle fan. And you know what? She's boring. She's really boring. And I'm over it.
Have you seen that people think Erica Jane is one of the Masked Singer contestants this season? They do. There's this one, and it's a Yorkie with, like, a pink outfit and sunglasses, and the hints are, like, something to do with, like, Las Vegas party girl, and I don't know. So their guesses so far have been Paris Hilton and Kyle Richards.
Okay.
And then I don't remember what the last guess was, but everyone. No, I do. What was it? Who was it? I don't remember. But it was wrong. But then everyone who watches the show was like, no, it's clearly Erica Jane.
Yeah.
Like, sounds just like her.
Yeah.
And I think, like, how interesting to have, like, 2 Bravo people.
Sure.
On one season.
Yeah. We've been talking about trying to pick a Bravo show and literally just watch the reunions and, like, see how because the reunions are the best part and you know it. But are they the best part if you didn't watch the season? So, like, would it be so interesting and crazy to be like, whoa, when you, like, don't really know what went on? But maybe the perfect show to do that with is Orange County, because there are so many seasons.
Yeah.
I can go watch each reunion and be like, whatever. And then if I'm interested and I want to watch the whole thing, I can watch the whole thing. Or I could pick up at a season that I was like, oh, I want to know about that.
Yeah.
Because
I was going to suggest Dubai. Because they do the whole gift giving thing at their reunion.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so messy.
Yeah, interesting. I just wonder, I don't know that we'll ever start Orange County, knowing Orange County or Atlanta are both like so many seasons, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
But
how many seasons does New Jersey have?
I don't know, but I don't.
Not as many, I guess.
Maybe. I mean, I might be wrong that those are actually the top 2, but of the ones we want to watch, New Jersey, like I can't watch it from the beginning. It's so old. There's 14 seasons.
I eventually want to watch all of them. I think after Beverly Hills, I'm gonna watch the original Roni, and then New Jersey, and then Atlanta, and then Orange County.
Yeah,
That's my plan.
I'm on Potomac right now.
I love Potomac.
It's very good. Billy's in too. All right. I think that's all, Karen. I think that's all we have.
Yes. Okay.
Bye.